Welcome to FYEye, the podcast where we have brief career chats with various professionals. My name is Diana Ramirez.
And my name is Sarah Shamasha. We are first-year experienced counselors, aka FYE, hint, hint to our podcast name. Our vision with this podcast is to share the career journeys of alumni who started at the community college.
We are starting in 3,
2,
1.
Woohoo, we're back.
We're back.
We're back.
What happened to us? Where did we go?
We were gone for so long, Diana.
I miss recording the podcast because we were on a roll. We were like recording, meeting with guests. It's just so much fun. But, I know we had a topic in mind, but let's chat where we were and what happened.
What happened? Where have you been?
I've been here, girl. Where you been? No. So, as you all know, we are community college counselors, and so summer hit for us, and so we had graduation ceremony, ending of a semester, and so we decided to take the summer to just kind of regroup for a podcast, but for the programming and just to welcome a new group of our first year students. Mm-hmm. And so that's where we were. We were just planning, taking time off. We did record something.
Right. What, did we post it?
No. We were trying to get back to like the video and record something and try it out, but I don't know, it just didn't feel well, and it just, sometimes you just don't vibe. And even though the video was good, I think we did a good job, but it just didn't make it out to the world, so we'll never be seen.
Never. Maybe like a blooper later on when we're really famous with this podcast of like we filmed this back in the day. Maybe
there's a lot of bloopers. Okay, maybe we'll keep that in our back pocket. Stay tuned.
Did you do anything fun this summer? So
this summer, there were, not to get too into detail, there was some like family things going on, so nothing too much. I think I also wanted to take the time to nourish myself and pause. I think I tend to overwork sometimes, and the personal experience in my life that happened kind of reminded me to slow down. So that was the other part where I was like, I want to get something out, and then, the other part of me was just like, you know what, slow down. Just take that time to really like sit in with everything. Yeah. But I did go to Comic-Con.
That's fun.
Probably like the only thing I did in the summer.
No, that's good. How was that experience?
I mean, it's something I do kind of regularly. Yeah. So it was nice. It was nice to be out there. This was like the first year there was actually a bigger crowd, like how it was post 2020. So yeah, that was nice to be out there. We actually took one of my friend's nephews. It was good to have like a child experience, so seeing from his eyes, that point of view. So that was really cool. How about you?
I spent a lot of the summer preparing for my class. Just a heads up, if you go to Grossmont, we have learning communities within FYE, and I'm teaching a STEM Pathway 1, so I'm just plugging that in right now. So maybe if you're someone that's coming or you have a family member that's coming, just ask us about what we offer with FYE, because if it's something that we offer when you come, maybe we can talk about it. But I was preparing for that, and I went to Japan.
Ooh, I'm so jealous.
It was really fun. It was really hot. It rained all like the entire time I was there, but the food was amazing. You felt pretty safe there. And it was overall a really good experience. I brought matcha from there.
Yes, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I love it. It's something that I really look forward to making. There's even some days where I'm like, I can go and get a drink. I was like, ooh, I have my matcha that Sarah brought me back home. And so I'm actually really excited to make it.
We probably need to talk about how you make it, because I've been experimenting with mine and I feel like I just haven't like done the right thing to make it taste as good as when you buy it. Because I'm like, I have the kit, I have the matcha, I have the milk. Like, what am I doing wrong? So maybe let's connect with that.
Though, there is something special about someone else making the drink. So I feel like you can't like get that piece of it, but
Yeah.
mine does stays good because it's always kind of like, ooh, who's gonna make it? I don't know if it's gonna be good or not. So
Yeah.
when someone knows how to make it, it's like I don't think you can match to that because it's just like them gifting you something, even though you're paying for it. But yeah, I don't know. But yes, we can share strategies and like what I use because I have a whole system.
Yeah, if you all didn't know already, Diana's a huge tea person.
Yes, I am. And one of the things, I don't know why this just kind of came to mind. I was talking to one of our students, and then I was like, okay, we're going to have this event, and I think I'm going to add some, like, tea version to the name. Like, really? You're playing it out too much at this point. I'm sorry. It's my brand, okay? It's my brand.
It is. And if you go to Grossmont, we actually have an event called Major Possibilities. And we have it very often where we'll have different kind of areas of campus talk about the programs that we have. I don't know if you want to share more about it, Diana.
Yeah, so not very often. Right now we're on
once a semester,
once a
maybe?
semester often.
Yes.
That's very often for us. Yeah, so this time we're focusing on health professions. So we're just trying to bring that exploration piece. So similar to what our goal is with this podcast, but in an event. And so for this semester, we're doing a health profession once. And so then next semester, if you didn't get to make it, because this podcast will come out after that, something to look out for. Yes, because we're very intentional with that as well. And kind of speaking a little bit about that, you were talking earlier that you also are teaching a class, which I'm so happy to. We've partnered in having 2 learning communities this semester, and learning communities are a pair of classes that are connected so we can support students in the classroom as well. And so Sarah is her first semester teaching with us, so I really appreciate you in that role. And so one of the things that we talk about is study strategies, right? So that's what we want to bring with you all today. We don't have a guest just because we're warming up to coming and re-recording, but we will have more guests later on. And so we just wanted to take a few minutes as the semester had just started a few weeks ago to maybe just share a tip from our perspective, from being counselors. So do you want to start with the tip or do you want me to start with one?
I can start.
Okay,
Yeah.
get started.
I would say first things, you really want to reflect on your current study strategies and time management skills. So what do you usually do every single day? Because if you don't really know how your day goes, you don't know what you're supposed to be doing different. There's a lot of tools online, honestly, if you just Google like a test, time management test to see how your time management is, or anything related to procrastination to see how if you procrastinate or not. I would recommend using different tools just to kind of reflect on how you do. And maybe take some time every single day, like at the end of the day, reflect on your day. Like, did I spend most of my time studying? Did I spend it going to classes? Did I spend it on social media? Did I give myself time for myself? Like, how did you do that? And then later on, I would recommend either connecting with our success coaches, or obviously you can find tools online, or just kind of try the one thing that I'm going to mention right now, and practicing that. So I recommend a few things. So I recommend potentially going and utilizing the tutoring services that we have if you're someone that can't really study on your own. So we have Math Center, we have a Writing Center, we have just specific tutoring for different subjects. So if you're someone that needs that extra help, please utilize the services that you have. And potentially connecting with others and making study groups. So dedicating time to meet with other people, connecting and studying, or potentially just actually scheduling a time in your schedule. It could be different things. You can utilize different techniques when you're actually studying. There's things called the Pomodoro technique where you're actually...
I did that one with my class. You know,
My
I was
students love it.
practicing too
Yes.
on my own because I was having... Sorry to cut you off, but
No, you're good.
I was having a hard time, like, working on stuff, right? So we have to prep for teaching, and
Right.
I was having a hard time, and I was like, okay, I even like did a free trial of an app, which I liked it, but I was like, I don't want to pay for it. I think I can kind of do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you color the little tomatoes every, like, you know, whatever your session is.
Yeah.
And so it's basically helping you with less distractions to have really high focus
Right.
on whatever it is. But what I like about that strategy, right? So it's listing what you need to get done,
Mm-hmm.
and then prioritizing what you're going to get done in that time. Because what I do, and I don't know if anyone else could relate, I do one thing and then I'm like, oh, and then this, oh, and then that email, oh, and then this. So it's like I am being productive, but I'm like splattered everywhere with my time. So I love that I just write it out.
Yes.
And then prioritize, and then in that little time frame, that tomato time frame, you're getting to like focus, and then you can see like you can feel productive because you're like, this was what I was intending for that time.
Yes. And you can do that with friends too. I tell my students all the time, go to a coffee shop, to the library, and tell your friend, hey, and Pomodoro technique is basically you doing focused studying and then taking a break. So that could be 20 minutes. Yes. So that could be 20 minutes, 25 minutes of you just straight up working on something. And definitely what Diana said, prioritizing would be good. That way you're not doing multiple tasks in that focused work and you're just doing one task. And then take a 10-minute break, 15-minute break, have that conversation, play that one game, whatever actually works for you, and then go back to it. That way, even if you're not feeling motivated, because sometimes we rely on motivation a lot, you could be disciplined in that sense. So I highly recommend that. And that could be like a daily dated thing. Obviously, if you're still struggling, connect with the people around you. It could be your classmates, it could be your teachers, to find techniques that would work best for you. Just not doing anything is the one thing that you don't want to do. So we're not feeling motivated, but we're also not working. We're finding it challenging and we're not doing anything about it. As long as you're trying something about it, I would say that's my main tip for you all. Connect with the people around you, your resources, because we are a resource. Everyone around you is a resource, and everyone wants you to succeed. So that's kind of what you could do day to day, but I know you have something for the whole semester.
Yeah, so a little bit with that, though, is just trying different things. So you try something, it may not work for you, and that's okay. There's a bunch of things out there, and you kind of figure it out, and you find your own timelines within your own breaks, like all of that kind of good stuff. So just try it. The one thing that I would say, you were talking a little bit about the time management thing. One thing that a mentor, when I was kind of observing his class, he's a counselor, and he reframed this word of time management to value management. I think just that framework of it, it's like we all have the same amount of time, in a week. No one's richer than anyone in time. Right. But what we do with that time is showing where our values are. So just reflecting on that, like if your values is, to do well in school, but most of your time you're spending, doing other things, then is that really your value at the moment, right? And it's also a good way to look at it, not to like shame yourself or be bad, but it's to look at it and see like, okay, well, then where can I make changes? So for me, that framework really, really helped. And one of the other things that chatting with students about too, one of our counselors, shout out to Shao, she was like, hey, I want to share this. And I was like, okay, it's been more like in my lens was a semester at a glance. So having your whole semester, so if you're in a 16-week, 8 weeks, whatever your semester looks like, and writing down the bigger, like, ticket items, if you will, like when is that big math test coming, when are those papers due, right? So if Sarah says, hey, do you want to go to Japan this weekend, and I'm like, I have 3 tests on Monday and I'm trying to come back Sunday, that might not be a good time to schedule that, right? And so just kind of taking a bigger look at what your semester looks like. So then, but then that way, then you can squeeze it. Maybe not this weekend, Sarah, but can we do it like the following weekend? You know what I mean? So those are things that you can look at it with the semester at a glance. So there's a lot of other things, but we don't want to spend too much time with that. But we just wanted to warm up, come back, just say we haven't gone nowhere. We're here. And the future of our podcast, right? We're in I think we're calling it season 2.
Season 2, yes.
This is where we're at. So
season 2, that's it.
We wrapped up season 1 without like a closeout or whatever, but it's okay. We're here to close out that season and start a new one. I know you all missed us and we're wondering, and we're hitting up our Instagram. Wait, we have an Instagram, right?
We do have an Instagram.
And so if you want to keep up with us, definitely follow our Instagram, which we'll have at the end of our podcast to kind of share with you. But before I forget, I don't want to forget this piece of it. I want to invite you all, as you know, the part of our podcast is to share stories. So many different majors, different careers. We really feel through storytelling, we will help students really help come to terms with that pathway is. And so we are open to sharing stories from folks that graduated or finished at the community college. So if you have your story that you want to tell, or a cousin, a friend that you're like, hey, you did this and I think your story is something that should be out in the world, we invite you to please come to us and DM us on our Instagram. Do you want to share what our Instagram is?
Yes. So it's spelled FYEYE. So like FYE, but FYI, the podcast name, and just the word podcast. So I'm going to say that again. FYE podcast. So if you just search that will show up. Even if you go on our regular Instagram for the FYE.Grossmont, the GC one, it's also linked over there. So you can kind of find us that way. But if you just Google it, you'll find it. And then this semester, we're doing kind of something new. I guess with this season, we're posting a little more organically. So I think we're more open to meeting with more people or potentially less people, kind of whatever ends up working. But if you're in San Diego, outside of San Diego, we could do Zoom recordings. So we're just kind of more than happy to have different voices on the show.
Just know more is coming for you all this season, and I hope to see you all either in our comments or our Instagram DMs.
This has been the FYEye podcast with the counselors of Grossmont College, brought to you by Griffin Radio.